Hello peeps and hello peppers and welcome to Soul Saturday. If you've never been here, hello, my name is Frida Martins. I am an artist with multiple disabilities, living in Iceland but originally from Germany. And on Saturday or Sunday, I'm always providing some random story from my life that makes me think about the sense of life or some kind of survival trick with my disability. Um, Yesterday I was actually so sad because like one of my specific um, writing supplies and craft stores closed down, and I didn't know that until a friend told me when the shop was already closed. So I actually fell into a black hole of sorts because I kind of wanted to say goodbye, and because this store actually gives me so many memories of like actually getting in person counseling. Let's say I walked in there a couple of times upon recommendation by a friend because I had a very specific project, and I described the project, and the good old man who worked in this store and who owned the store, and I think it was kind of his life project, he then brought things and more things that could be suitable to the project. And then actually kind of he did the magic and brought forth these watercolor postcards in a really nice tin box that I knew from my younger years and from another such insider stationery store in another country. So to the extent that I actually said, well, if that is the thing now for my tarot design, then I need more of those. And then I made some mistakes with the designs, and then I gave away some quirky postcards that I painted on these cards. So I actually went on foot to this, for me, slightly far off store, and I said, Mister, I need 3 more such postcards boxes. And he says, I just have 4 left. So if you take the 4th one, you get a good discount. So yes, this store is no more, but I mean, it keeps existing online, and you could technically buy them things from the internet, but of course then you have to pay for the postage, and I don't know. I mean, that might be feasible if I need bigger amounts of something. I phoned the store when I didn't know yet that it was closing, just asking if they have more postcards, because I have more tarot designs now. But then the person said very shortly, we don't get these postcards anymore. So I have to find another source for them. But actually, like, sort of to drown my sadness in another way of buying supplies and meeting people, I went to the mall today and I found this book that is called New Beginnings. It's basically blank, but actually, like, the recent events in my life, all of them call for some new beginnings. And I actually hope I can leaf through this booklet now, because I made some drawings to remind myself of the new beginnings. Like, when I was kind of lamenting the beautiful postcard and such store yesterday with a giraffe in my arms. Her name is Libby, derived from Prolibitherium, which is a giraffe-like fossil from Libya. Yeah, I'm also kind of a fossil because I always need postcards and I always need like sort of anachronistic whatsoever supplies. And like, let's say when someone the other day tried to describe a really complex video game to me, let's say you could see that the person was a good bit younger than me, or like I just kind of, I don't know, my brain sort of lightened up with all the buttons from the 1990s Game Boy. Strict parental regulations. How much Tetris can you play in a day? That was, of course, like by no means this storytelling that modern video games have, but and also by no main means the, can I say, brutality. I personally gain the impression that, like, let's say people born after 1990 have a higher tolerance level for violence in the media than, for instance, I have. Yeah. I am totally a fossil, but yeah. Back to topic. That was a tangent. Well, thinking about, like, I actually like Libby's pattern because that shows like how my brain always makes connections. And actually, in some African mythologies, it's my understanding that the giraffe stands for wisdom because it can look above all the other animals. So I hope I can look above a certain issue here, because, okay, I've given up on doom scrolling towards politics, but so I'm kind of scrolling through YouTube and Insta in order to, let's say, find some social activists that are interesting me. And indeed, there was a person. I purposefully say a person because there were actually, like, let's say, conflicting pieces of information about the gender identification of the person. But okay, point made, the person had cerebral palsy, sort of like me. And I googled the person some more, and there were like several videos like explaining cerebral palsy relatively well. But of course, then a particular transgender activist had to comment on this person all of a sudden coming out as trans. And okay, I don't know a lot about the people involved. And I mean, if I really want to make a qualified video about those people, I would have to research them some more. But let's say it's still struck a chord in me that, let's say, the gatekeeping transgender activist complained that the I would almost say maybe gender fluid person, but I don't know if that's right, was sort of trans enough because the maybe gender fluid person had an aha moment where they put on, like, suddenly women's clothing while they were male presenting, and that made them feel at home. And of course, there is probably more to that than meets the eye. But let's say the gatekeeping transgender activist actually also made comments about when this person talked about brain damage, if this person's intelligence was affected. And I was like just thinking, no, because the here I'm trying to make like mushrooms that are coming out of their like baby skin and so on, because mushrooms make a network of roots. So let's say if you have brain damage in one place, the brain has so many other places that partly can take over the function of the damaged places. So, and anyway, the brain has so many places and neuronal autobahn motorways anyway. So let's please, people, never make any assumptions about the intelligence of a disabled person, especially not like a cerebral palsy person or an autistic person. And let's just join hands in taking it seriously that people who have one condition can also have more than one condition. And like, let's say this having cerebral palsy actually does not exclude, for instance, being transgender. Like, if you have never watched any of my videos, then you haven't seen my old videos where I actually also talked about, like, there was a time where I thought I was transgender, but let's say also in this case, the matter was more complex. And the human brain is more complex, and a lot of matters in this world are more complex. And yes, I have also experienced that, like many people with cerebral palsy, that people have talked to me like to a small child. I am, if at all, a big child. But I also have experienced it that people told me, oh, you're so intelligent, you don't need any extra help. And that is equally dangerous because that means I don't get the extra help that I need. And like, by the way, I have a relative who is very similar to me and, like, let's say, close enough to me that I can blame the genetics on some things. And like, autism runs in families. And I've read something about 17 genes who influence autism. But actually, this is just an invitation to learn more about it. Okay, anyway, a person who functions kind of similarly to me, I told this person, we may be intelligent, but we don't have access to the intelligence necessarily. And the person actually took an IQ test. I didn't. And the IQ test showed a little bit above average. I'm telling this story to say we are not miracle children, and we let's say we need to seek a conversation about how we learn, basically, like everyone who wants to learn efficiently. There are so many different learning types, and I enjoyed such an article about the 7 columns of intelligence, and there's like language intelligence and emotional intelligence, and okay, probably I have some sort of visual intelligence. This is me pushing like a mammoth through the snow piles in the middle of the street in Reykjavik, because let's say the snow cleaning modalities in Iceland are kind of not intelligent. And where is my last picture of the day? Yeah, I only have 30 seconds to find it, but it was sort of like a blowfish with spikes, because in the autism community there is often talked about a spike profile of intelligence, as in like, you can do some things extremely well and you can't do other things. Like, basically your ability is like very below average. I mean, this is like really different for every person. So take this with a grain of salt, and I wish you a wonderful evening. Bye bye.